Guys, not a lot of report, today other than we've had really three good days of practice. Yesterday was a light practice. Players are off today. They'll report back tonight for because we have practice and meetings in the morning. And then they'll get tomorrow afternoon off as the coaches stay and evaluate the film. But like where we're at this time, I think a little rest time today will be good for these guys. Preparation for App State's been going good, and we're getting some guys that were a little banged up, hopefully back tomorrow, which will be a big plus. But it's been a good week, and excited about getting back on the practice field tomorrow.
Anything besides turnover you're trying to work on?
Well, we're always trying to improve, whether it's improved tackling, fundamentals at all areas, and especially when you get a couple of extra practices. We had what we call bonus practices Tuesday and Wednesday, and during those times you're always trying to improve fundamentals. You're always trying to improve tackling, takeaways, all those type of things. You always are trying to focus on. But the main thing that we feel like that if we can correct, and that's the turnovers, then we really feel like we'll be a much better team. The morale is actually really good. I think for the fact that these kids know that they're only a few plays away from being where they felt like they could be at this time. Now, is everybody doing jumping jacks and singing Kumbaya? No, we're not. But they're excited because they see the opportunity for us to be a really good football team. But all types of emotions. We talked about surfaced with whether it's guys just upset, frustrated, disappointed, which we all are anytime that you're 2-3, and we felt like that we should be better than that. But you know what? That's where we're at, and everybody, head coaches, assistant coaches, players have all taken ownership, in our team meeting, and we know that we can be a better team. We look forward to moving forward.
Kelly and McGuire doing better?
They are. They both will be 100% for Wednesday, which will be a nice boost to have both those guys back, especially with Clay in the kick return game.
With your record as it stands, how pivotal is this game for you?
Well, be honest with you, they're all pivotal. If you'd asked me that last week, that was a pivotal game. 2 weeks ago was a pivotal game. They're all pivotal. But for us, we're trying to get that confidence back, trying to get that conference respect back. For 4 years, we had more conference wins than any team in the conference. And so, but then obviously with last year and then this year 1-1, we want to get back to being one of the top teams in this conference year in, year out. So we've got some work to do that, and it'll be a great opportunity to get started this week. But we're going to have to play awfully well against an outstanding App State team.
Going back to 2014 against Appalachian State when you lost here, did that kind of set y'all's agenda back a little bit to moving forward to where it is now?
Maybe a little bit, because that was a disappointing loss. At that time we were on a 6-game win streak and felt like that was one we could get, and we would have finished with a 10-win season that year. And but they come in here and got after us at our place, and I didn't do a good job getting us prepared. And we really didn't respond well the next year from that. But we knew going into last year that it was somewhat of a rebuilding year. But that was a tough loss, especially at home when it was their first year in the conference.
Why do you think it carried over to last year, though, as opposed to just ending after that other season?
I guess because we were on such a roll. We'd won 6 in a row. We were sky high, playing really good, and they sort of come in and came in and popped us between the nose and sort of knocked us down a notch a little bit. And since that time, we did come back obviously and beat Nevada in the bowl game, played really well. But that next year, we just didn't have the year we want. And I guess that was one team that you sort of pointed at that sort of knocked you down a notch that we lost too late in the season.
Coach, how do you juggle wanting to have some days off and get guys healthy with the fact that you're preparing for a very physical on the line of scrimmage kind of football team?
Yeah, and one thing, in order to be able to compete against a team that's very physical at the point of attack, we've got to have some healthy bodies to be able to hold up for that type of game for 4 quarters and maybe then some for the way the games have been going. But nevertheless, we've got to get guys back healthy. We do pride ourselves on trying to be a physical football team, and in our last 4 games, we've played very physical, and hopefully we can continue playing that. We've got a lot of guys that are pretty tough, and so I like that demeanor about our team. I think we're a physical team. I think physically we match up extremely well. I think they've got a very sound scheme they're doing defensively that makes it awful difficult to move the ball, and they've got some outstanding players all around. So it's going to be a big challenge.
Not to give away your game plan, but with the differences between New Mexico State and App State's offenses, did you guys put anything new in on defense this week? Do you have time to?
Yeah, you're always going to have some wrinkles, for every opponent, and you always have your playbook, offensively and defensively, and you always pull a certain amount from that playbook each week for the game plan. You don't go into each game with the entire playbook, and so you always have some things that you think that might work, and you scheme up against some guys. But for us, we're more worried about ourselves. If we can take care of ourselves, and that's taking care of the ball and execute. We're more, worried about us doing our job than we are our opponent at this point.
Was playing a run-based team like Tulane a couple weeks ago and actually stopping the run really well give you guys some added confidence going into a face a team? I know they do, they power and they do things differently, but mentally just stopping the run.
Yeah, I think that at least gives our guys some confidence knowing that they have stopped the run, and we've been pretty good up front, and our linebackers are playing awfully well right now, and so at least we're not coming into the game where we have not stopped the run. They're going to be a big challenge to stop the run against them, but at least to this point we've been pretty good against the run at times.
The defensive line this year comparison against their offensive line to the last 2 years. How would you rate this year's comparison, your D-line against their O-line, to what the matchup was the last 2 years?
Well, I think, their offensive line is probably the best one they've had because they got 4 returning starters. So I think their offensive line is one of the strengths of their offense. And, they got they've got some great backs, but all their backs are getting yards. And so when they're all getting yards, to me that points back to the offensive line. As good as their backs are, they're all being very productive. And so they're good up front, and they play hard, and they got some very talented players. And our defensive line's going to, have a great challenge ahead of them, with the fact also they're going to be playing a few more snaps than what they're used to, for the fact that our depth has been depleted just a little bit with the 2 guys that we lost this past week.
How nice has it been for the offense to watch film and not see Ronald Blair there?
Yeah, well, Ronald Blair was a heck of a player, but they got John Law running around back there too, so he's just as good, in some ways maybe even better. So they've got plenty of really talented defensive players.
Coach, how's Anthony been doing?
Anthony said, boy, he's had a great week of practice. That guy, even the way he responded and came back against New Mexico State there when he came back in overtime, threw the strike on the speed post that we dropped there in the second overtime. And so, this week at practice, he's responded well. Man, he's just like the rest of us. He's taken ownership, and he's really come out wanting to improve. And so I've been real pleased with his work ethic, with his attitude. He doesn't get too high and he doesn't get too low. I like that part about him. He just wants to win and wants to prepare, and been real proud.
Other than the turnovers, what else would you like to see from your offense?
Well, one, we've got to be a little better on short yardage, and we've gone full circle with that this year. And now, obviously, losing Jalen, looks like we're going to still go a little full circle till we get the plan that we feel like would be most effective. And getting short yards against these guys is tough. They're really good.
Does Deion Ray fit into that?
Not in the short yardage category. He's a guy that might could help us as the season goes along on some type of wildcat plays back there in the back. But short yardage playing, he will not factor into that. So that part is changing up a little bit. We'll need to be very productive. But the key is being in 3rd and short. We need to stay in 3rd and short and stay out of 3rd and long, which we've done a pretty good job at that. But we've got to be more opportunistic. We had a 3rd and 3 in the second overtime that we've got to find ways to get some of those to put ourselves in position to be more successful.
Is there any particular player on offense that you'd like to see step up more than you've seen in the past 5 games?
Still our wide receivers, when we give them opportunities, have stepped up. Keenan Barnes has made some big plays against Tulane, against South Alabama, and we need to probably give Jamarcus a little more of an opportunity to step up. Jamarcus Bradley, and then some Mike Jaquette. Some of those other wideouts, we need to give them a chance to step up and make some plays. We've got a lot of talented young kids, and we need to give them chances to do that.
You guys added a game in 2021 against Arizona State. How long was this in the works, and what advantages did that give your team? I know it's long off, but
Oh, it gives us plenty of advantages. It's just, I don't know about that or not. So, but no, good opportunity to go play a quality, a great opponent. It's odd how us, Group 5 coaches always get, what do you feel? How's it feel to go play Alabama? How's it feel to go play Georgia? How's it feel to go play Arizona State? The only question that they would ever get that would be similar would be like asking their head coach, well, how's it feel to get ready to play the Dallas Cowboys? How's it feel to get ready to play San Francisco 49ers? That's basically would be the next step up for a Alabama or a Georgia. They don't play up. They don't play up. We play up. They don't play up, if that makes sense. The only way for them to play up would schedule the 49ers on one of their 4 non-conference games, and so that makes it tough. But I will say this: as a coach and our players, we like playing good competition. We like going to great venues and playing great stadiums in front of big packed houses, and so that'll be a great opportunity to showcase our program. And we've played well at times against some really nice opponents, and times we haven't. So hopefully this will be one of those times that we can.
All that being said, how important is it to you, though, to get that so-called signature win or to beat a Power 5 team?
To me, that's a signature win in Division I is each week in my book. It's hard to win a Division I college football game. So each week for us is a signature win. Would you like to beat one of them? That would be great. And but just like everybody talks about, I think some people look at it wrong though. Some people would rather us have a win over a Power 5 team early in the year and then go 2-10. But boy, we got that Power 5 win. Sort of like South Alabama, which they have. I'll say that had another good win against San Diego State, but. After a few weeks, that wears off, and nobody even remembers it. For us, we want to be successful each week, and we're going to try to win each week, regardless of who we're playing. But that'd be an exciting thing to go on the road at one of those places and have a chance to compete for a win.